Our Diamond Circle honoree is no stranger to the PPB dais. He has filled the shoes of former resident humorists Pat Buttram, Steve Allen, and Hal Cantor in several luncheons. When Jim MacGeorge first arrived in Hollywood from Seattle, he went under contract to the producers of the Time for Beanie cartoon series, and that was the beginning of a very successful voiceover career. Jim was a solo live performer on the commercial that brought the Honda automobile to the United States in 1963. At that time, the car sold for a whopping $1,300. While back, he toured Florida with the group Yarmy's Army with Harvey Korman, Shelley Berman, and yes, Peter Marshall, of course. And he received accolades for those performances. He starred with Anthony Newley in a show I saw, wonderfully done. He played Stan Laurel in the Broadway musical Chaplin to rave reviews. Laurel was Chaplin's understudy when they came to the United States from England. Jim portrayed that Laurel character on all the Laurel and Hardy commercials you've seen on television, including the long-running Anco windshield wiper spots. And guess who played Oliver Hardy? He's with us today, a former Diamond Circle honoree, Chuck McCann. Jim has acted in motion pictures. He's appeared on television. He's doing his funny and very warm routine around the country. Today's recipient of the Pacific Pioneer Broadcasters Diamond Circle Award, the outrageously gifted Jim MacGeorge.
Chuck, thank you very much. We were talking earlier, and Chuck said a penny saved is a government oversight. I think he's right. I want to thank the Pacific Pioneer Broadcasters for this award. I want to welcome all the members and the guests, and I love these luncheons. I usually see a lot of friends that I haven't seen for a while, and I usually meet someone whose work I've admired through the years. I feel good. I'm October 9th, I'll be 87 years old, doing pretty good. Good shape. I had a physical on Wednesday, and the doctor said I can do anything I want. But it better be this week. I try to stay in shape. I joined a gymnasium a year ago, and in just 6 months, I've lost $150. We all have problems, and we try to solve those problems. My computer broke down, and the kid next door, 10 years old, came over and fixed it. 10 years old. I said, what was the problem? He said, it was an ID10T problem. I said, what's that? He said, write it out. It spells idiot. Yeah. And we try to cure the problems. I just loaned a friend of mine $8,000 and he had a facelift. Now I don't know where he is or what he looks like. I had a fender bender. A guy banged into my car. I walked over to his car. I said, "You drinking?" He said, Are you buying?" I invested in a baseball team in Bakersfield. They call themselves the Possums. They're great at home, but they get killed on the road. I'm very glad to be here, and I think we're all, you know what really irritates me is all the excuses that women have for not wanting sex. I'm tired, I'm washing my hair, I have a headache, I'm your sister-in-law. I think we're here to learn. Einstein said, education is not learning facts. Education is learning how to think. Well, I'm not that good a thinker, but I got a lot of facts. And I tell you, it's important that you never marry a beautiful woman. She'll leave you brokenhearted. Marry an ugly woman. If she leaves you, who cares? Yeah. And if you're ever attacked by a group of clowns, go for the juggler. Did you read where Madonna and Cher had a big fight? Now they're not even on a first name basis. The archaeology department at UCLA found a new pyramid, and they were inside dusting off a mummy. And they looked down, and the lips were moving, and he got real close. And the mummy said, "Is Larry King still alive?" I just found out what Jesus said at the Last Supper. Everyone must be on this side of the table if they want to be in the picture. To be here and get this honor is a wonderful thing I will never forget. You may forget, but it will stay with me. And last Friday, I was home, kind of relaxing. Knock at the door. I opened it. She said, "I'm a Jehovah's Witness." I said, "Well, come on in, sit down. Can I get you a lemonade?" "What can I do for you?" He said, "I don't know. I never got this far before." Everybody today is on the iPhone and on the iPad, and it's difficult. Conversations are difficult. I was in the Bank of America, and I said to the cashier, "Would you check my balance?" And she pushed me. And the romance is important. Some warmth in life as we go along. I know the couple were in bed watching television, and suddenly she feels a hand on her thigh, and it goes up her arm and around her shoulder and down her back, and it stops. She said, "Why'd you stop?" He said, "I found the remote." I told a joke in Chicago, and we did a show for the heads of the McDonald Corporation, and raised a few eyebrows. The three bears aren't living together any longer. They had a big fight, and Judge is talking to Baby Bear, and he said, "You're going to live with your mother." He said, "No, my mother beats me." "Well, then you'll live with your father." "No, my father beats me worse." "Do you have a relative that will take you in?" She said, "I have an aunt in Chicago." "Does she beat you?" No, the Chicago Bears don't beat anybody. Chuck and I, this is absolutely true story, in 1945, I was working landscaping homes, and I was on a winch with a big rock, and the handle came loose and busted up my face pretty good. I woke up 5 days later in the hospital, and I looked like Stan Laurel. And then the good news was that I met Chuck McCann, and we had a lot of fun for a lot of years playing those characters. I used to visit Stan at his apartment out in Santa Monica, and one day he said to me, "You know, lad, we never told jokes because the comedy came from the characters. But a fellow told me a story yesterday. A manager of an apartment building knocked on the door. He said, 'I'm afraid I'm going to have to evict you.' He said, 'What for?' He said, 'For urinating in the pool.' He said, 'A lot of people do that.' He said, 'From the diving board?' I look at my life and this honor today, and I take inventory of what I have, not what I don't have. And that list is pretty long. And I try to live life one day at a time. And I remember the words of John Wooden, UCLA basketball coach. He said, make each day your masterpiece. And the things you would give your loved ones are the things you should give yourself. And the words of J.B. Presley, an author out of England, he said, I'm always delighted at the prospect of a new day, one fresh start, one new try. And perhaps there's a bit of magic waiting somewhere behind the morning. And that's why we learn to forgive quickly, kiss slowly, love fully, laugh uncontrollably, and enjoy this day. It's the one day we have. Thank you for this honor. Thank you. Yeah.